Today I want to talk about dopamine and the chemicals in your brain. Dopamine has been the word of the time, of the period in this self-improvement world. If you search for dopamine, you will see a billion different videos about how dopamine affects this and that, and uh, very superficial videos that don't dive in the actual science behind it. But in this world we have today, everything is easy. You want food, you go to the grocery store, you go to anywhere, just buy it, and it is cheap. You don't have to spend hours to survive to get your food. Everything is so granted. Everything is so granted, and even the food we don't have, which we don't have to survive to get, it's way more pleasurable than the food our ancestors had to fight to get. So they would get, like, I don't know, a vegetable, and that's it. Eat that vegetable, sometimes without salt. So our life in general is so easy if compared to the medieval world, to the ancient world. It's extremely easy, and this have been making us so soft, because we don't have to fight for things. We just work, and our work is not very uncomfortable, and that's life. You have everything guaranteed. You go to school, then you go to college, then you get your work, and you work until you're retired. That's your life for most people. But that's not the point, actually. If you want to change, you have to be against this comfort, because change is just possible if we're willing to farewell our old version. When you love more the comfort than the change, you will never change, because there ain't change without discomfort. In this world of ephemeral pleasures, everything seems to have the obligation to be quick, easy, intense, uh, pleasurable, and comfortable. And to reset our brain that have been, like, addicted to these pleasures, and to be so easy to not live with discomfort, the best thing to do is, like, the most ideal thing would be to spend as much days as possible in a blank room without anything, and someone just gives you food like once or twice a day, and the most lame food possible, so you don't even have the pleasure of the food. But once we have lives and we can do that, the ideal thing would be, like, cut out those things, cut out social media, cut out uh, true pleasure food, and etc., for an extended period of time, to kind of reset. Just wake up, work or study without music, without anything, just do the thing. Then you come back home, you pray, and you sleep. That will be the life. And kind of live like a medieval person, or almost like a medieval person, would reset your brain. Because in your brain, dopamine works like motivation. So if you don't have any dopamine, you don't wake up, basically. You don't have the will to do anything, literally anything. So dopamine uh, has to exist in your brain. And it does. It exists on your brain. And there's this tonic phase, which is like, you're doing nothing. You have this tonic phase of dopamine. It's going, going, like you're doing nothing, just going to keep you alive. As I said, if you have no dopamine, you don't wake up. You don't have the will to not even wake up. So there is this tonic phase going here. But once you do something that is really pleasurable, like uh, pornography, like drugs, like a very tasteful food, you have the phasic phase, which is like this. You have this tonic, and by the way, dopamine works before you're doing the thing. So before you're accessing the pornography site, or before you watch the video, before you consume the drug, for example, before you do the thing specifically, dopamine works to like give you this euphoria, to do the thing. And there's this peak out of nothing. There's this peak of dopamine, which is the phasic peak of your dopamine level. So it goes like from, for example, you're one, and out of nothing, a thousand. But before this phasic level, your tonic goes down. So what was 1 becomes zero point 0.5. So your tonic phase was one, like one receptor of dopamine, and out of nothing you get 1,000, and after this peak you go down for zero point 0.5. So you have less motivation to do the thing, and this works because when you flood your brain with dopamine, there's a lot of receptors which work like windows. So your brain releases dopamine, and it just works if you have the receptors of dopamine, the receptors in your brain. When you have this peak, some of them close to keep the balance. The body always will do as much things as possible to keep this balance. So in order to keep this balance, these receptors close, and they close, and they close, and they close. That's why you have less motivation each time you do something that is very pleasurable. And okay, you have now zero point 0.5. Okay, but then you use drugs again, or you watch pornography again. You have another phasic peak. But this peak now is not as big as the other because some receptors closed. And now, once again, more receptors close. And the more you do it, the less motivation and discipline you have. So the more extremely pleasurable things you do, the less motivation you have after that. So that's why my life have been so impacted for my PMO addiction, because each time I did it, I would have this phasic peak, extremely big, and after that, I wouldn't have discipline to do nothing. I wouldn't have the will to do anything, and then I will do again to try to reach that tonic phase again. I don't know. Probably that's a possible explanation. Then this peak would be way less hard than the previous one, and I would have way less motivation. So that's why I haven't been motivation to anything, and this is like 0.1% of the real neuroscience behind it. And I love to study this neuroscience stuff because it's literally how your brain works, and it's the the best tool on your body. Is one of the best tools you will possibly have, and so it's good to understand how it works. So basically, to reset will be to cut out social media. You as I mentioned, cell phones are crap because they are all the time giving you this peak. It is like a jackpot. You take the lever, and this is how social media is made to work. There's millions of scientists to make this work. So each time you open WhatsApp or Instagram, it's like a jackpot. And if you cut out these things, maybe if I don't bring my cell phone to everywhere, if I don't listen to music all the time, of course, cutting out like all the things, Netflix, and like eating chocolate, eating things that are too pleasurable. Just eat like rice and egg and meat. Just it without a lot of salt, without sauce and those things. If I cut out those things, live by exercising, studying, reading, praying a lot, I will be way more productive, and over time, I will have way more discipline because uh, the less dopamine, the more receptors are open in your brain, like the least thing would give you motivation. So like if you spend 1 month on a blank room without anything, after that you would have motivation to read for 8 hours, whatever, you know. To read is better than to do nothing for 1 month. So basically that's it. Dopamine is one of the biggest responsibles on my brain chemicals for this stage of life I've been going through. Okay, and this is one of the millions of notes I have in my old notebook. Of course, it's in Portuguese, some of it in Portuguese, some of it in English. But I love these notebooks because it's like three different years I've been writing kind of simultaneously. Because in one page you have something from 2020, in the other page you have something, or in the same page even, you have some note here of 2021, 2022, and these different periods of my life, and it doesn't have a specific topic, so it has things about sales, things about self-improvement, things about neuroscience, theology, Bible, etc., history, millions of things. Some and some even nutrition and sports, like this marathon training plan, songs, etc. Things about music. So anything I find useful, I write down. This one has already been completed. Like there ain't no space, literally no space to write. This was my old catechism book, notebook. But I wrote with a pen over it. So I write down on with a pen, with a pencil, and write down once again over it with a pen. And now I have this one, which is the same thing. In the beginning, it was my English studying book when I studied English at Wizard, and then it started to be marketing and sales funnels, and then copywriting, and then patristic, which is theology from the first 4, 5, 6 centuries of the Catholic Church, which is the only Church of Christ. And then it starts to be like Alex Hormozy stuff and to-do lists, etc. And I love it. But I would like to have another one just to write down things about Alex Hormozy, because now I'm studying almost every day some video of him. Because I plan to watch every video he has on his channel, and every video, or almost, because not all of his videos are new stuff or are stuff that is meant to be studied. But the only thing I want to learn from him is how to make money, how to sell more, how to make more money, and sell and sell and sell, and that's it. And I realized that selling other people's stuff is the best thing to do, especially when you're starting, because like everybody has something to sell. Everybody. If I ask, knock on people's door, do you have something to sell for $1,000? But only a few people know how to sell. So that's why sellers, people that know how to sell, make so much money, and people that manufacture things don't, or if they do, they have to work a lot. And salespeople, usually, if you're good at it, if you work 4 to 6 hours a day, you can make, I don't know, $20,000 a month. If you like, in 1 year, if you start from zero, in 1 year you can make 20 to 25,000 bucks a month. And for me, that I know English, of course my English is not the best one. I'm not proficient. I lack words a lot of time. I always switch before with after. wake with woke, or the opposite. But if in 1 year, like I sell in Brazil, and I learn how to do it properly, and I make it part of my routine, and I decide to switch to sell to United States or England or some place in Europe, or like so sell to the Arabic people who speaks English, I will be able to make $20,000 a year, which is 100,000 BRL a month, and it's possible to do it in 1 year. So although I don't like it, my number one skill must be sales, and Alex Hermosi is one of the best people to do it. But what I like him the most is his clarity on his teachings, because some people just like are farming content, and there ain't content properly. But he actually doesn't need to be doing that. Every piece of content is actually content, is actually something that will make your life different. So that's why I decided to study everything he has to offer, his books, etc., his courses, his videos on YouTube, in order to have this clarity, because like Russell Brunson is also amazing. It's the same thing, but it's specifically to sales funnels. Specifically, if you already have a product, for example, and you have to build the funnels, it's amazing. But I don't know. I think my thing is agency is the plan. I first saw uh, it being presented by Imangadzi, which is like you have an agency, and you hire people from Brazil, people from South Africa, Philippines, whatever, and your customers come from the United States or Europe. So you're making like, I don't know, $5,000 a month, which is 25,000 BRL, and you hire three people from Brazil for $1,000, 1,000 BRL a month. So you would be spending 3 to 4 thousand, up to 5,000 a month for them to do everything, and you would still keep 20,000 K. So it's like so profitable that I would like to do it. So that's why I'm an SDR. I have been an SDR, and I want to know how to sell, etc. Okay, that's it. Thank you, guys.